today. So thank you so much for attending. Today is our second how-to webinar for our magazine division. What we've been doing is doing more topic-specific webinars for our clients. So today's webinar, we're just focusing on the geographic analysis information for magazines. So we're going to talk about what that information is for the geographic, and then we're going to also then switch it over to Jenny for a live demonstration in which he's going to show you how to analyze this geographic analysis through the Media Intelligence Center. So with that, I'm going to get started here. So today, what we're going to, like I said, we're going to be focusing on the geographic data. And what we're going to be going first is kind of just going over the publisher statement and talking about the differences between the magazine 6-month publisher statement distribution versus the geographic data. Then we're going to go into the geographic analysis, what the requirements are, and then also the breakdown of the format. Then I'm going to switch it over to Jenny, and then Jenny's going to take that information, what I went over, and show you how to analyze geographic data through our Media Intelligence Center, also known as the MIC. I do want to let you know that all our clients, whether you're a publisher, an advertiser, an agency, all our AAM clients have full access to all the data that's housed in our Media Intelligence Center. So all the reports, all the analyzing tools, you have full access to this information. So there's four main components when you're looking at a publisher statement for any magazine title. You're going to be looking at paid distribution, there's verified distribution, and you have single copy sales and analyzed non-paid. So in a nutshell, paid circulation, as long as the consumer paid 1 penny net of consideration for the subscription or the single copy sale, it's considered paid distribution. So for paid circulation, it includes individual subs, you have discounted subs, your combination sales, association clubs, deferred sponsorships, partnerships. That's all included in the paid circulation section. Below that is verified distribution. Now what verified distribution is, these are copies that the publisher is distributing for consumers. It's basically for readership, it's for public place, it's for your waiting room copies, hotels, airlines. So there's very specific rules regarding this. But it's basically your readership type of distribution in public place areas. Also, too, individual recipient who has a strong affinity from the magazine is another category that's in the verified distribution. Single copy sales, just like paid circulation, the consumer paid at least 1 penny net of consideration, not for a subscription, but just for a single issue. That is considered single copy sales. And when you're looking at single copy sales in here, returns are deducted. So it is net single copy sales, net paid distribution. The next and the last one is analyze non-paid distribution. This is for our clients who want to analyze their non-paid distribution that's going out to non-paid recipients. Whether it's through a list source they obtain those recipients, market coverage where they're saturated area, non-paid bulk, delivered with host products. So those are the four main components for magazine distribution. Now, when you look at a publisher statement, if you really want a quick down and dirty look at what a publication's total paid, verified, analyzed, non-paid distribution is, you want to look at the executive summary. Real quick, look at the total distribution for a publication. If you want a little bit more detail by issue, you want to look at the issue by issue section. So it takes their total paid, analyzed, non-paid, verified, net information, but it breaks it down per issue. So that's what the issue by issue section is. The next section, the publisher statement, is probably one of the most popular ones besides the geo data, is the supplemental analysis of circulation. So this is where, yes, it tells you about paid, you have paid broken out, you have verified, and your analyzed non-paid, but what it does, it breaks it out into that nitty-gritty detail. What makes up your paid distribution? Is it all individual subscriptions? Do you have associations? Do you have clubs? Under verified, what type of verified distribution do you have? Is it all public place, or do you have individual list source? Then if you get into analyzed non-paid, is it market coverage? Are you doing non-paid bulk? So this is what the supplemental analysis, this is what this is great for. And Jenny and I, we did a webinar last week that just focused on the supplemental analysis and all the detail that was included in there. We do have a recording of that webinar. It was sent out last week, but if you would like for us to send that to you, please email me, and I'm more than happy to send you a copy of that recording for that webinar. The next major section in the publisher statement that's probably the most popular too is geographic information. So when I was talking about in the executive summary, in the issue by issue, and the supplemental analysis, this is all based on that 6-month average. What the geographic analysis does, it takes one issue, so an analyzed issue, the publication chooses, and it breaks it down, the distribution, not only by paid, verified, analyzed, non-paid, but it breaks it down by geographic location. So if you're in the United States, it's going to break down the distribution by state. If you're in Canada, it's going to break it down by province. So this is a really great tool to see where distribution is occurring. So just like any distribution that you are reporting for AAM, there's always rules around it. And the rules that are applicable for the geographic analysis are, if you're a US publication, it's S5.1. If you're a Canadian publication, you're going to want to look at 105.1. But basically, our US and our Canadian publications, the rules are interchangeable for the geographic analysis. So a publication for a magazine, when you're reporting your 6-month publisher statement, you have to report a geographic analysis. So you are going to be selecting an analyzed issue. It doesn't matter which issue you choose, it's up to the publication's choice on which analyzed issue they want to analyze to break out by geographic location. What is required is that at least once a year, so once a statement period, you have to provide actual distribution by geographic location. And then in the second publisher statement, what you could do is then prorate that information based off the actual distribution that was reported before. So basically, once a year, so both publisher statements, every 6 months, you do provide a geographic analysis. But once a year, one of those geographic analyses that you're choosing has to be actual distribution. The following one, the following statement, you can prorate it. Also, too, some of the requirements is that some publications have distribution that is going out to military or civilian, and it's outside the U.S. So we do have a category for that called military or civilian personnel overseas. So that's where that distribution is going to be quantified at. For U.S. publications, if you have a U.S. publication and you have circulation of 70,000 or more in Canada, so instead of what you'll need to do is break out those individual provinces in Canada instead of doing it as a total Canadian line. For our Canadian publications, same premise. If you have over 70,000 copies or more of circulation in the United States, instead of doing a total United States line, you're going to break out those individual states. And regardless if you're in the US or Canada, digital is not broken out geographically. Instead, it is going to be a line item. So your geographic analysis, what it's looking at is your print distribution by geographic location. Digital, it's just going to be a line item. It's going to be placed as under that total category, whether it's paid or verified, but you're not breaking it out by states, or you're not going to break it out by provinces. We get this question quite a bit. Well, what backup do I need? Well, for all information that's in our publisher statement is subject to audit. So just like your distribution is going to get audited, so is your geographic information. So what you need to maintain for audit is going to be the geographic, your gross geo report, the gross subscriber galley, show where those subscribers are coming from, their name and addresses, and also to the ability to provide any information by state, because what the auditor is going to do, he or she is going to randomly select various states, and they're going to ask you for that detailed backup to support that distribution. So you need draw reports for your single copy, your verified, your analyzed non-paid, your paid subscriptions. You need all that backup. We do have publications that their circulation is being maintained through a fulfillment center. However, some distribution that you have is outside that fulfillment center. So in that case, you need to reach out to that vendor to get that information for supporting documentation. So example, if you're at PCD and you have distribution through WRSS, this is for the waiting room copies, you're going to have to contact them to get that distribution report for your verified distribution. So this is just a quick look at the format for the GEO. So if your U.S. publication, what it's going to do, it's going to break out all the 48 United States, the 48 continuous states in alphabetical order. And then it's going to follow by Alaska and Hawaii. And then you're going to have Canada and your military and other classified distribution. It'll have the paid, your verified column, your single copy column, and your analyzed non-paid distribution. Digital is just going to be grand total here. It's not going to be broken out by the states. And if we had a U.S. publication that did have Canadian circulations over 70,000, instead of being a total line for Canada, it's actually going to break out those individual provinces. Kind of the same premise for Canada. In Canada, what it's going to do, it's going to show all the provinces in alphabetical order. And then you're going to have the total military, and then you'll have a United States line. Again, if they had for United States circulations over 70,000 or greater, you're going to see instead of a total line for US, it's going to actually break out those states. And then digital, again, it's just a total. It's not going to be broken up by provinces. So what information can you get from this geographic report? Well, actually, there's a lot of information that you can get from this report. It's just a great way to see where your distribution is occurring. It's great for target marketing. It's great for regional advertising. Also, too, it's a great way for you to do your year-over-year comparisons for state and province distribution. You can do it for trending. You want to see where you want to focus your subscriber campaigns at, things of that nature. Also, we have a lot of our magazine publications that are affiliated with a parent company. They have multi-titles that are housed under one parent company. So if you want to see where your total distribution is for a parent company, you certainly can analyze that data, looking at the geo data by state for your parent company. And probably the most popular way to use this is for competitive analysis. Compare your geographic information, your distribution, where it's occurring against other publications. And you can see how you're in line with them, how you're ahead of them, or where you may need to change your marketing strategy. This is probably one of the common questions we get all the time is, where's this geographic data located, since it's no longer printed on the actual publisher statement? Well, the geo data is there. It is not, you're correct, it is not printed on the document. However, all publications every 6 months need to provide this information. Where this information is housed is in our Media Intelligence Center. The reason why it's an easy downloadable format for you to put in Excel, and this way you can do all sorts of analysis, all sorts of filters that are going to be best to suit your needs. This change did occur effective with the December 2015 publisher statement. So if you're looking at historical information, prior to December 15, that geo was printed on the actual document. After that, it's still available, but it is housed in the Media Intelligence Center. Do want to point out that I keep referring to the Media Intelligence Center. All our clients have full access to this information that's housed in our Media Intelligence Center. So now that we have a little bit of information about the geo and the components that make up the geographic information, I'm going to turn it over to Jenny Anderson, and she's going to switch it over to a live demo and show you how you can take this information and analyze it through our Media Intelligence Center. So I'm going to quickly bear with us as we switch over to a live demo, and I'm going to switch it over to Jenny here. So bear with us real quick. What Jenny is doing now, she's going to be logging into our actual website, which is at auditedmedia.com.
Okay, thank you, Sandy. Thanks, everybody. That was awesome to see Sandy. She broke out the geo information. Learn something new every day. So now now that we know how our geodata is put together, that it's based on one issue in the reporting time frame, how can you access this data? How has it become valuable to you out of the Media Intelligence Center? So here I logged on to our AAM website, and this is where you access the MIC. I ask everyone, please, when you're using the MIC, use either Google Chrome or Firefox, as Internet Explorer is not compatible. So I'm going to click on menu here. I'm going to click on Login and Media Intelligence Center. All new users, please call 224-366-6339. That will get you to me. We can give you your new user login information. So we'll use your member number and this info here. You'll be able to create your account, and then thereafter you can come in and log in as a returning user once you create your information. So I'm going to sign in. Now, as you can see on the screen, this is the main page of the Media Intelligence Center. Since we're focusing on magazines and on geodata, we can have a couple of ways that we can access the magazines that we're interested in. So let's say I wanted to look at a variety of magazines. I can just start typing in the name of a magazine, and then I see that I can just hit enter. So then that brings up the magazine of my choice. So I only want to look at one. I brought up Allure. But let's say we wanted to look at another one along with Allure. Then you put a comma but no space. And let's say we wanted to look at Canadian title Chatelaine. So we start to type that in. As you can see, it comes up below. I click on that. Now it brought up the Chatelaine and the French language edition. Let's say I wanted to look at another magazine. I put a comma but no space, and then I just type in Vogue, and I hit enter. And so now I've got my Vogue and my Teen Vogue, because it shared that wording, it would bring it up. So as you can see, if you just want to look at a few titles, go ahead and put them in the search by bar, comma no space in between. And you can access your info right here. But I'm going to reset. This is this little circular button here that ends in a arrow. You'll use this all the time. That is your reset button. It means I want to do another search for other information. So now I want to show you on the left-hand side, you have filters. Now these filters are going to help you either broaden or decrease the listing of titles you're interested in. So I know I want magazines, so I'm putting a check mark to the left of magazine. As I scroll down, I can look at country. Am I interested in just magazines within the US? If so, I would put a check mark next to the United States, and you'll see here there are 390 consumer magazines that we could look at this point. But if I come into the MIC and I'm only interested in Canadian publications, I can put a check mark to the left of Canada. Here I've got my 53 results for my consumer publications for our Canadian titles. If I don't select either of these options, it means that every single title is represented in this list. You can tell that by looking at audit source, looking at type, city, etc. You can look at US, you can look at Canada under state. That's where you're going to kind of differentiate between US and Canada. But I like that these up here, I bring them all up because they're all clickable, which means they can be sorted ascending or descending. So you can click on state and it's going to put all of your titles here in alphabetical order by state. Let's say you want to start from the bottom up. You just click on it again, and now we've got Wisconsin. You can click on report dates, parent companies, etc. Any of these are at the top elements are sortable by just clicking on that title. Another thing you can do, and a very popular filter on the left-hand side, is parent company. When we click on parent company, This allows you to look at every single publication under the umbrella of a particular parent company. So if I'm looking to do some research on a particular parent company, let's say Bonnier, I select, put a check mark to the left of that and click apply and close. Now I have all of my magazines that have a parent company of Bonnier. So I can look at all of this information individually in Reports Library by clicking on the name in blue, or I can select all of these titles and pull them into the Periodical Analyzer. Before I do that, I want to reset and show you another filter briefly. We select our magazines. We want both countries represented. We can also do an SRDS classification search. This is what type of genre are you looking for in your magazine. Let's say you were looking for a particular automotive magazine and you wanted to do some comparisons if you're an automotive title with you and maybe other competitors or other magazines. I put a check mark to the left of automotive and click apply and close. Now I have all of this information noted here with that automotive classification. So remember, this data is available to you if you so chose to filter it that way. I'm going to go back to parent company and we will pick, let's try Advanced Magazine and click apply and close. So now I've got my list of titles that I want to pull into the Periodical Analyzer. And I want to do some geographic analysis on all of these titles. So I simply put a check mark to the left of publication name. I click on Analyze Data, and it provides me with a variety of tabs. I want to click the Periodical Analyzer tab. Now, when you come to the main page here, it can be kind of confusing as to what reports you want because there are over 20 listed here. But each paragraph will have kind of an identifying column header. Just take a look at this. As you scroll down, you'll see Geographic Analysis here. So the report we want is Geographic Analysis here in the middle. Many people confuse it with average circulation of regional, metro, and demographic editions. Not all magazines report this information, and these are those editions that, as it states, are regional, metro, or demographic edition. It's that special edition. It is not the geographic analysis, your state-by-state data. To access that, you're going to want to click right here on Geographic Analysis. When you click on the title, it opens up a window and it offers you the chance to choose your column headers here. You can pick and choose. Let's say you wanted paid subscriptions print and paid subscriptions digital issue and total paid subscriptions. You could just have that in your report. None of this has to be chosen. So you're just going to get what you choose, or you could select all here at the top. I usually select all because it's easier to pull everything into a spreadsheet and then delete a column than it is to go back and add it in. So I click select all, and then here in the upper right-hand corner, I click submit. So it's going to load my geodata for every single magazine we pulled in to this tool. So you'll see here we've got Allure, Architectural Digest, Bon Appetit, all of these with their Alabama geo information. So we pulled in all of those titles. So at this point, we can click Export, and then a window pops up, and we're going to want to click the down arrow, choose Excel, as that's the most frequently used format, and then click OK. Now, it's going to take a few seconds for this data to download into Excel, but once it does, I'm going to open it up here, and then we're going to have a spreadsheet with our information. So something I wanted to show you when I download this. This right here is, we've got, the column headers in a variety of different ways. These are scrunched up. These have a lot of room. I like to go ahead and clean up this spreadsheet a little bit. So I'm going to highlight the entire spreadsheet. I'm going to click and drag just one of the columns here. As you can see, it makes them all more legible. And then I double click on my first row. What that does is it takes away all of the space that we had in this here, in these column headers. So it just tidies it up a little bit. It makes the spreadsheet a little more legible. So just keep that in mind as a quick tip when you're downloading your spreadsheet. But now you've got your geodata for every single publication you pulled in. So you can use filters on this information. You could make a pivot table out of this and access this data as you see fit. Something else that I wanted to show you is, as I close out of this report, let's say I would like to access historical publisher statement periods. All you have to do, and this, what I'm telling you right now applies to every single report in the Periodical Analyzer. If I click Add Historical Report, even though you don't see anything happening except for the sign or the button changing, it's added the option of historical reporting to every single one of these reports. Now I'm going to go back down to my Geographic Analysis section, and I clicked on that. Now you can see before we clicked on Add Historical Reports, this bar was not up at the top. But now we can choose which publisher statement time period you want to pull your geo from. So I could actually do December 2016, December 2015, and December 2014. Let's say I wanted to do a 3-year analysis, statement period over statement period. I then select my column headers here, and I click Submit. So now it's loading our information, all of that geo information for all of those titles, and it's taking its time period over time period, 13, 14, 15. So here again, once we have this information, you can see here Allure is represented by the reporting period 16, 15, 14, and here are their stats throughout those years. And this is their geo data. Again, we're going to export. When this window pops up, we're going to choose our preferred format, and then we're going to click OK. So remember, when you come into the Periodical Analyzer, you can choose any of these reports. And when you click Add Historical Reports, just to show you, even if I click on this first report, this bar is still there. When I deselect it, it's just going to pull from the most recent pub statement available. You'll notice when I click on Geographic Analysis, it's not there anymore. So remember, if you're looking for the most recent available for each title, you don't have to select the time period, it'll automatically pull. If you want historical time periods, please don't forget to click on the Add Historical Reports button. And since we do have a few seconds, I want to go back and show you how to create something. We have a list here, and this is our Advanced Magazine Publishers list. Let's say that I'm going to look at this list a number of times when I'm using the MIC. I actually want to save this list. So I highlighted which publications I want on my list, and that's every single one of them, and I click that Save Lists function. I'm just going to call this Advanced Mags, and I'm going to click Save. Oh, it looks like I already did it for that one. So then let's say I want to go back and I can do it for, let's say I'll call it something different. So I'm going to click Save List, and let's just say I'm going to call it Advanced, and click Save. So now, if I come in on any other given day, I'm going to reset my MIC here. I go up into Manage Lists, Report Alerts, and I see my Advanced right here. I put a check mark to the left and click Retrieve. And now I've got every single one of my magazines. So just remember, saving lists is easy. If you've got a list you want to use, please don't forget to select them and click that Save List button. And before we go, I want to turn it back over to Sandy. Thanks so much for joining us today. And Sandy, here you go.
Thank you, Jenny. That was wonderful. And as Jenny went over, this is that periodical analyzer. There's over 20 some odd reports to choose from. So what we focused on today was just a report for that geographic analysis. But at any time, if you have any questions about the Media Intelligence Center or just questions about the distribution in general, please contact either myself or Jenny. We're more than happy to help you out with your questions. I do want to point out that this webinar has been recorded, so everyone's going to get a copy of this webinar. I will send a follow-up email, and even for those clients who weren't able to attend, they will also be getting a copy of this webinar as well. Thank you so much for your time today, and we look forward to talking with you. Take care.